Hey guys, Strong Style Series back again. It's Alex.
And it's me, Noah.
And we're here with our first ever CZW review, or an actual full show review. Yeah. I'm your champion, by the way. Still, reigning. I'm going into Mania as the champion. You know, I'm John Cena.
It's hard to predict.
Actually, Cena is always the going to win the belt. It's WrestleMania, right?
Yeah. So
whatever. Anyway, we're here with your Cage of Death 15. This was a show that took place back in December on the same night as Final Battle, and a lot of people actually said this was better than Final Battle. I think they're both on par, kind of.
Yeah, I thought that maybe Final Battle's card structure was a little better, but other than that,
well, I think CZW was better, like having a more consistent show, though.
I agree. I think that the only thing that hurt it was that Hero was in the opener, and that other than that, I thought it was a really solid show. All
right, well, let's start things off. Well, first of all, the show started out with Tommy Dreamer cutting a promo and giving a plaque to some guy, a camera guy for CZW that's been there for a while, which was kind of cool. And
the production part of this was really, I mean, it's CZW and all, but man, it was really Bush League. Remember, the guy was in the ring, the announcer was in the ring, he didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
He was talking to the crowd, he was telling somebody that they parked in
they were advising someone to move their car because they parked in a fire lane or whatever.
That doesn't need to make air.
Yeah.
You know?
But okay, we started out with Chris Hero coming out and manning his match with Gulak started right now. So we had the CZW World Title between Chris Hero and Drew Gulak, which was the opener. And this was a pretty fun match. This was actually the first Hero match I've seen from his indie stuff since he came back.
Yeah.
And he looked good. I thought they worked pretty well together. It was a very good technical wrestling match. Just my problem with this really was that it just didn't get that next level, I think. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was good, and one thing that really bothered me, it was a nitpick, but was that when Gulak locked in, I think it was like the Indian Deathlock or whatever, or something like that, or the Trail Edge. Like he did it, he transitioned to it like the same way every time, and it's just I kind of wish he'd just mix it up a little bit, you know, make it a little bit different, you know. It was a minor gripe, but just like one of them was just you know, if you're gonna go for a submission, shouldn't you be able to counter out the submission if you keep doing it over and over again like that?
Right, you'd think. And I agree. I thought this was a fun match. I like the technical stuff. These guys are fun to watch. It's fun to watch them work, you know.
Yeah.
They're just move after move. And but like you said, and I think it's kind of something I've noticed with a lot of Gulak matches is that he's a fantastic technical guy, but it's that kicking it up the next match, making it feel more important, like you're on the home stretch of a match.
Yeah,
I don't really get that from him.
I agree, especially because it seemed like during this match, the ending of the match felt exactly like the beginning of the match. You know,
right.
He needs to work on kind of putting some extra pizzazz in the match. You know, you know, but you know, hopefully, you know, he's still pretty relatively. He's just starting kind of breaking out into
he's still developing this character.
So I ended up giving this a 3.5.
I also gave it 3.5.
Yeah, pretty good match. And then they had in the match, Masada made his return and basically is going to challenge Gulak for the belt, which...
I mean, I'm sure there's CZW.
Oh, yeah, and the fans were really happy to see Masada back.
So, I mean, that's smart.
Yeah, good. Then we had a scramble match between Azrieal, Joe Gacy, Andrew Everett, Tony Nese, Chuck Taylor, and AR Fox. A lot of high flyers in this match, and... they did a lot of stuff in this match.
Yeah, they did. And everybody got their spots.
Yeah, everyone got their shit in. Everyone did some crazy-ass spots. I mean, it was just non-stop, spot after spot.
This was very indie.
Oh, yeah, this was an indie match for sure. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was fun, and I really enjoyed watching it. I mean, some of these guys did some crazy fucking moves, though. Andrew Everett, I think, took a reverse run and, got brained on it.
Yeah, that was nasty.
But luckily, even with all these dives to the outside, nobody crashed and burned. Everyone was caught safely, so that was, you know. Tony Nese is still fucking awesome worker.
Yeah, he is amazing.
He's shining this match, I think, and I'm really ready to see more of Tony Nese. What'd you end up giving this match?
This match I think I gave it 2 3/4.
Okay, I went 3. So
okay.
I really enjoyed it. You know, it's a spot match, but it was fun. So
right, it was a lot of fun, and I thought that as far as card placement, this was a smart,
because you know you have that great technical wrestling match to begin with, then you want to get the crowd super hot with the second match.
The problem is if you had a long technical match to start, and then you follow it with either another long technical match or a slower pace match, you could lose the crowd right like
Yep.
that. So this was nice to get them fresh right back into it.
Well, they did lose the crowd with the next match, which was Freight Train taking on Greg Excellent.
This
was a rough match to watch.
This was this might have been like the worst match of last year.
This might have been.
As far what worked like between the ropes, like
Yeah.
a worked match. This was
You know,
one of the worst.
I understand that Freight Train's got a very big fan base, you know, and I can see why. You know, he's pretty funny, but like,
comical.
you know, it just doesn't match well with CZW. I think
Not at all.
You
and
know,
this, you know, you could tell it was supposed to be a comedy, but it wasn't working.
it just didn't work, and I don't remember how the crowd reacted to this match. I
didn't care.
I didn't. Yeah, I just got the feeling they didn't care. We saw Freight Train do the worst leg drop ever.
Oh man, it was so bad.
And then we saw Joe Gacy try to do a sharpshooter, but couldn't get the legs right, so just locked in
Well,
an
it
ankle.
wasn't Gracie. It was.
Or Excellent, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, Greg Excellent tried to lock in a sharpshooter, couldn't get it right, so just locked in an ankle lock, and that was the end of the match.
Yeah.
Just really,
mercifully
really,
over.
yeah, not short enough of a matchup. This was pretty long, and yeah, I get this negative star.
Yeah, this.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But we did pick up again. We got the CZW World Tag Team Title match between the Blackout, Ruckus and Black G's, who we're pretty big fans of.
Yeah, I enjoy their stuff.
Versus JT Dunn and David Starr, called Juicy Product. Horrible tag team. Terrible
yeah.
tag team name. But this was actually a fun match. It was pretty generic indie match, but it was fun. JT Dunn and David Starr, two guys I've never really heard of, really, and like I was pretty impressed with them. I like Ruckus and Black G's. I think both of them are good, and this was a fun match. You know, just nothing special, nothing huge, but it was just good.
Right. This is kind of just a match you could see on any indie.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere.
Typical undercard match.
Yeah, solid. The Juicy Product didn't
wow me.
you know, they were very bland, kind of the BJ Whitmer, Rhett Titus of CZW kind of feel.
Okay.
But, I don't know, maybe I need to see more of their stuff.
Yeah, okay. I give this 3 stars.
I gave this, I believe I gave it 3 stars, yeah.
Okay. And then we had Kimber Lee, get it? It's a joke.
Wow.
Wow.
I do get it.
Yeah. Versus Christina Von Eerie. Kimber Lee is a member of like the Drew Gulak team or whatever. And so, and Christy Von Eerie is Masada's girlfriend, so like that made sense for them to have a match. This was, you know, decent. It was too much bullshit around, like, you know, because like Von Eerie basically took out like the guys who were with Kimberly, and then like they had like some of a match, and then it ended very quickly, and that was really it. You know, nothing really special.
Yeah, nothing at all, really.
The only part of the match I had a problem with was after the match, Von Eerie grabs like the Masada wooden spikes and stabs Kimberly, and she's like, "Did we really Did we really fucking need that?"
It's such a brutal looking spot.
Oh, and the thing was like she did it once, and it didn't do it, and so you had like just jam it, and just man, nasty shit, and like I do not fucking need that.
No, what'd you get this?
Star.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Maybe that's
3/4 of a star. You know, that's.
All right. Next up, we had the Beaver Boys, which is John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Both guys who I'm pretty big fans of, especially John Silver. I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on the Colony, Fire Ant and Green Ant, which was a pretty big surprise considering the work relationship between CZW and Chikara is pretty sketchy, and Colony is a Chikara thing. So,
exactly.
But fans loved it, and this was a pretty damn good match. It was awesome to see Fire Ant and Green Ant working together. They hadn't missed a beat.
No,
they were
obviously those guys have a lot of chemistry with Silver, and that showed.
Yeah.
And he is a great worker.
Oh, he's great.
Enjoy his stuff. This was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a very fun tag team match.
What you would expect out of the Colony, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't you come to expect nothing less.
Yeah. The only real problem I had was one part where like the Colony just hit like 5 or 6 moves in a row on Silver or Reynolds, and like it still got broken up. Like that should have been like the finish, because like they like brutally, like they were like, you know, kick to the head, you know, wheelbarrow, you know, just all
Sometimes
these fucking crazy moves, you know.
Too much. It's just overkill.
It was a little bit of overkill. But it was still a very fun match, and it was kind of cool to see the Beer Boys go over and get a big win over a well-established tag team. But yeah, I give this a 3 1/4. Really enjoyable match.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. 3 1/4. I enjoyed it too.
Right. And then we got the match that a lot of people were really looking forward to. Chris Dickinson, who's a relative newcomer in the independent world, taking on Davey Richards. This was a very, very good match. I mean,
yes, it was.
This had a real puro Japanese style wrestling. It was just these guys were just throwing haymakers at each other, just trying to beat the hell out of each other.
This had a very 2005 feel to me, like with Davey in there and this guy.
Yeah,
that was very. I remember back then when that was when the strong style was really getting popular in the U.S. and so that's how it felt, especially with Dickinson. 'Cause he's a younger guy, and you could tell when you watch this match that these guys hadn't worked together.
Yeah,
but they overcame maybe slight sloppiness or slight spots, but they worked fantastic together.
Yeah, it was an amazing match, and it's almost a shame we're not going to see a match like this again from Davey.
Because you know that if they had a second match, it'd probably be even better.
Maybe, yeah. Dickinson really impressed me. I'm ready to see more of this guy even in the future. And Davey put him over big. After the match, it was typical Davey promo. The only problem I had with this match was actually during the match, the lights started going out, and it was just that was just such a bad timing, and the one good match that
we all wanted to see.
Yeah, but I'm not going to count that against the guys, and they muscled through it and did not miss a beat during that.
Right.
So that's good. I give this 4 stars.
Yeah.
Great match. Next up we had Biff Busick, Sozio, and DJ Hyde taking on Ohio Is for Killers. I think it's Irish Airborne and one other girl. I don't know who the girl is. This was a pretty average match. I mean, really, really average. Nothing special about it at all.
No.
I mean, they did some decent stuff in the match. Busick, I've heard a lot about that guy. That guy is fucking good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that guy had some potential. I see a lot of Claudio Castagnoli in that guy.
Why? Cause
just like the style, in the appearance, really, and the very physical, especially when he hits the European uppercut. He had a good one.
Yeah, he did.
So,
but this, other than it's nice to see a showcase for guys that we don't know very well, but other than that, not much to see.
And they did a very, very stupid spot where they had a pile of chairs, and then they did a superplex to the outside onto the pile of chairs, and just why did you do that?
Right, just
And then DJ Hyde took the 2 worst chair shots ever from that one.
DJ Hyde's selling in this match was just
it was comical.
Laughable. Yes.
Yeah, it was just bad. I mean, typical DJ though. Although he did take the pin, so I'll give him that.
So. Yeah, I mean,
right.
I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, I give this 2 stars.
I gave it 2 1/4.
Okay. Next up, we had the CZW Wired Championship between Alex Colon and Shane Strickland. I feel bad for these guys because I think, at this point, the crowd was getting to the point where they wanted to see the Cage of Death. Because try as these guys might, this crowd did not really care about this match at all.
Not in the least, and it hurt the match.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is that sometimes crowd noise it'll always help a match.
Yeah.
But you can still have a very good match without it.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like there was a point in this match where these guys got desperate. We got to connect with the fans, and I understand that, but it didn't work, so they kept building on that, and it didn't work, and then they build on that, and it didn't work, so it was just too much.
Yeah, it felt like to me these guys basically were in the back, just okay, what spots you want to do? Oh, I want to do this one, and I want to do this one. But they didn't figure out a way to string those together. It just felt like they were just doing moves for the sake of doing moves.
And this was a match that felt like there was overkill.
Oh yeah,
kicking out of spots that had
they were kicking out spots that looked like death. That's obviously the finisher. We were actually just watching this that's it, 1, 2. It's why do you kick out? And just we were just end this match. Not because it was bad. It's just okay, you've done enough. Just go home.
Yeah, it's just not working.
Yeah, and that's really they should have just said call an audible and just end the match now. I mean, you're not getting any better.
Especially if the people in the back know that it takes about an hour to erect the cage.
Yeah.
Just end it.
Yeah, just
end the match.
Yeah. That being said, everything they did in the ring was good. It's just if you had structured it better, it would have been better. I gave it 3 stars, and because like I said, the stuff in the ring was good. It's just they had nothing to build on those spots.
Mm-hmm. I gave it 2 1/2.
Okay.
I thought, like you said, the stuff was fun. The spots were fun, but the match itself didn't fit together like a match should.
Okay,
and so,
I can understand that. All right, and then we had the Cage of Death, and during the live show, it took almost an hour for this thing to be built, which I cannot imagine being there live. How that felt.
I don't like 20-minute intermissions. I'm ready for wrestling by the time I sit down.
Oh man, this featured the Nation of Intoxication versus the Forgotten Ones. I can't remember who was on all the teams, but I know that I think the Nation of Intoxication, maybe the Faces, I think.
I believe it was.
Okay, which was Danny Havoc, Scotty Vortex, and Lucky 13, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Scotty Vortex was that. I don't think, maybe it was. I don't know. But like I know Lucky 13 was in it, so whatever. But it was basically the Nation of Intoxication had a fourth guy they claimed was going to be there, and it ended up not coming. So it was just it was a 3-on-4 match with the Faces getting the disadvantage. And for the most part, this was just a typical Cage of Death, like where they did spots and it was a brawl. It almost felt like a lethal lockdown match in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it did. This was kind of fun.
Yeah,
for what it was.
This was probably one where they didn't have as many crazy ass spots, but they did have quite a bit of scary moments.
Right. And this was the one. This is the first Cage of Death we've.
Yeah, this was the first one. Yeah.
And this was the one where we were like, well, that was fun enough. Let's go back and watch them all.
Little did we know.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about is like there was a really cool device they had in that match, which is like they had like a lever that had like was kind of just like a pile of chairs that would come like swinging down and crash into a guy, and it did work, but the cameraman didn't get it.
I couldn't. That was such a cool.
Like we were thinking like that is really clever. Like I wish they do more stuff like that. That would make a match like this fun, you know?
Right. Like if it's gonna be a contrived match, just go for it.
Yeah.
You know.
So the end came when I think it was who was the big guy or whatever. It was Lucky 13 and what's that guy's name?
Oh, there was Rory Mondo.
Oh, Matt Tremont. That's what it was. It came down to him, Matt Tremont, after like some crazy ass spots, and out came Nick Mondo, who's a CZW legend.
So this was a big return.
Yeah, and to be fair, the crowd did react big.
Right, it worked.
So they didn't know who he was. And like he came out, distracted Tremont, and Lucky 13 managed to throw him off the cell, eliminating him for the match, and won. And then Nick Mondo put him over big. You know, it was a big win for him. So that was cool. And then afterwards, we had this third thing where there was a guy on the Forgotten Ones called Rory Mondo, which I found out more later about this afterwards. He basically was a huge fan of Nick Mondo as a fan, basically modeled his entire career after Nick Mondo. And Nick Mondo basically said, like, hey, you know, I appreciate what you did, you know, modeling your life after me, but you don't need to be doing these spots anymore, this crazy deathband stuff, you don't need to. And like, whereas like, okay, you know, I have your respect, I retire, basically. Which I thought was kind of cool, and like, it was nice that like kind of like Nick Mondo basically acknowledged like, hey, these things we're doing, it's not safe, you know, you're shortening your career, blah blah blah. So like that was kind of a neat way, and like it was no BS swerve. It was actually legitimate, like this guy retiring, and it was kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
They didn't overdo it.
No, I agree.
And it was weird because we didn't know any of these guys
No.
when we were watching it, but it was still something that you could tell that it connected well with their audience.
Mm-hmm.
And even watching it, you're like, okay, this is working. This makes sense. This is...
Yeah.
And like you said, no BS. And it was nice to see that.
Yeah, you know, once in a while it's okay to have just you know, a guy retire and not to have to do some freaking angle with the, you know, end it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you end up giving this match?
This one's... Cage of Death is so hard to rate. But,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 3, maybe.
I give it 3 as well.
Yeah,
So we'll give it 3. It was, you know, it was fun, you know, for what was there, and you know, we weren't familiar with the storyline, but apparently everyone tells me that the storyline actually did make sense in the context of the match. We'll take your word for it, but you know, it was fun. What you end up giving the show overall?
What did you end up giving this show?
I went a 7.75.
Okay.
You know, it was really good. It, you know, and like a lot of the matches were like all in like the 3 range or whatever, except for a few crappy matches, but. You know, very easy to sit through. I mean, this was like a 3.5 hour show, and like we breezed through it like no problem. So it was fun.
I felt like I didn't enjoy a couple of the matches as much. I went with a 7.25 originally, but I might bump that up because it was a fun show to sit through and easy to sit through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 7.5, especially if, you know, I'm not a CZW guy. If you guys out there like CZW, then yeah,
that's fine.
This would be a good show to go check out.
And I'd actually probably recommend this to non-CZW fans because like I think there's enough here that even without the Cage of Death, you'll probably find something you like. A lot of good tag team matches from this
And
show.
I don't remember anything just repulsive or
no, it was just like scary spots, you know.
Yeah, which
it can be fun once in a while.
It's every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our first ever CZW review. Maybe we'll do more, depending on how good the shows are. We're not going to watch them live. We'll wait for people to hear the response about people. So, all right. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye.